Hello guys, it's Switch here with another Marvel Snap video, and in today's video, one more time, Series 1 decks still. So for the people who just start playing the game recently, you didn't play it even 20 hours yet, and you just wanna go with some deck to crush opponents. Yeah, it's actually a really consistent deck. As you can see, I played 11 games, I won 8, I lose 3 games, so the win rate is 72%. And I think this deck is like super consistent, and you can just jump to the ladder or whatever you wanna play, and just you can just simply win a lot of games, a lot of cubes, and you can rank up super high on the ladder, and then later on when you will access the Series 2 cards, you will change this deck. So first I'm just gonna start from the 2 cards which they are kind of just here because it's the Series 1 deck and you just wanna replace them as soon as possible when you hit the cards from Series 2. So we have the card which is called Mantis for 1 energy drop, and this card is great, but if you will have Series 2 cards, you just wanna remove this and replace for Agent 13, 17, what's her name? Where's the agent? So yeah, Agent 13. So Mantis is okay, but it only works if actually the opponent is going to play the card on the same position. So that's why you want to replace this card to basically have always card when you play a card. So Agent 13 is on reveal, add a random card to your hand. So that's always going to add the card to your hand. Angela, it's okay, but honestly you don't want to play it. The Angela is only good if you will play it on the second turn. Usually after turn 4 this card is dead. Or on turn 3 maybe, but on turn 4 it's like a dead card. So you just want to remove this, and you want to basically add the collector on the Series 2, and that's going to be like a almost a done deck to play and to get like lots of value from it, and then we can just basically change this to Series 2. Maybe I will just apply some other changes and then we'll just update this, because right now the idea is to finish off the Series 1 decks, which is going to be another ongoing version, the Strong Guy, Enchantress and Strange, and then I will jump into Series 2 decks. I don't know how many decks it's going to be, 8, 10, whatever. And then obviously I will just carry on to Series 3, and in Series 3 I will just do basically everything what I can possibly do. So, Value Town, yeah. Agent, Collector, despite the fact the Collector was nerfed recently, exactly 2 days ago, it's still a viable choice, and to me, honestly, wasn't a broken card. I think right now might be even the better though, and you might ask why it's better, because it's nerfed, it's not better. It actually might be better because we can target the collector to try to avoid more than 8 power. It was really easy to do 2-digit stats, 11, 12, carry on, you name it, and then basically it was countered by Shang-Chi anyway. I'm not saying like every deck is trying Shang-Chi, but you have an idea. So in my mind, it's still like powerful and good card. It just simply won't have 2 more stats to it, but it's not like really the like an issue, because you will have from the Cable, you will have from the Sentinel, you will have from the Moon Girl, and then at the end of the day, you're probably running this with the Loki anyway. So it's still good card. Maybe just wait if you have on the opening hand, just play the collector, then just play the agent Cable, so you have like 2 stats. Probably like another 2 or 3 from the Moon Girl, then from the White Queen. So you have still good opportunity to boost this card. This is obviously to the Loki variant and archetype. So you might still consider to remove this card if you don't really happy with it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, if you're not running the Loki, because this is not the Loki deck, so you might consider to remove this and just put whatever you actually fancy and whatever you like to put here. Maybe some 2 energy drop, and it's honestly up to you, whatever you wanna put here at the end of the day. maybe even a Domino might be like a good tempo card, and I'm just, why not? We have a couple of 2 drops, 2 energy drops, but I will just leave it to you guys. Usually on the next variation of the deck I will playing a little bit, then I will just update the list. So I usually well, not really waiting. I mean, usually I spending a quite bit time when I'm creating the deck, despite the fact like half of them doesn't work at all. Still, I'm sitting like 10-15 minutes and maybe sometimes longer to figure it out what can I possibly put. So right now, I don't really know what I'm going to play with on the Series 2, but I know there's going to be just 2 changes at first. So Agent 13 and this card. Just honestly, I don't really know what we can put. Cosmo is like super great counter card. We can just play the Cosmo and it's going to be great. There's lots of stuff. Be happy to play. The Hulkbuster is just amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna try out at first with maybe even the captain. We'll see. Anyway, so this is like the core. You can just swap a few cards, you know, if you're playing the Series 2. And then we have the Lizard, which is going to be like super powerful card. Especially when you're playing the Enchantress on the same position, and especially when you play the Enchantress after some people will play the cards on the same position, and you can remove the abilities from the all ongoing cards at this location. You have to keep that in mind. Your ongoing cards later on in the future are not going to be work either. So yeah, this is just basically the protection for the Lizard. If you don't like the Captain, you can just play the Cosmo. Cosmo is great. And then at the end of the day, we actually supposed to maybe add some extra card to add extra card, just simply because the idea is to play the Devil Dino with massive stats and basically protect that Dino with the armor. Armor is not only the protection for the huge cards in this deck, armor is a great tech choice and counter for any destroy decks. So just beware when the people playing Nova and then playing the Wolverine, and then when you see already 2 cards, obviously you want to play armor. In some cases, maybe even if you see 1 card, because it just simply depends who is going to turn card first. So you can just judge by the shiny name. So you will know if your name is shiny when you're playing, and you will turn your card first when you play that card. And this is huge. The armor is like, on the beginning you just see might be like no important card at all. It's actually it's massive. It just destroy decks can be destroyed with this card sometimes. Like sometimes they will just play around and somehow they're going to still win or have some good fight with you. But this is kind of broken card, because if the opponent is going to play 2 cards setting up the board, and then you're playing the armor, and then there's some destroyer card which doesn't work at all. So basically he have like 3 dead cards on that location, which means he didn't boost his power, and basically you're just winning this location with, let's say, armor, agent, and maybe some lizard to it or whatever, some cheap cost cards. He's not boosting, you know, his cards, and you are good to go. So I don't have that on the highlights, I believe. So I have this on the highlights on some other game, but nevertheless you will came across lots of destroy decks. So armor is definitely really good card, especially if you playing this as a protection to your own cards, because they are huge, but still you have a tech choice, and it's great. So you might add another tech choice if you really want to, if you think like you need more protection, to have like 1 protection for the from armor to the Devil Dino, and then obviously you want to copy the Devil Dino before you're gonna play the Devil Dino. That's why it's like super great energy curve or mana curve, as you wanna call it, because this is turn 4 and this is turn 5, and usually the Devil Dino is turn 6 as well. Obviously, if you're not going to draw this, it's not going to happen. That's why in this deck you might consider to actually add the America Chavez just simply to thin out the deck to have an ability to actually draw Devil Dino itself, or either some cards which they are going to be drawn from the deck. But it's just up to you. Like two energy drop is domino, right? So that's you sure is you just drawing the cards. I'm choosing the America Chavez, even if I don't really need that America Chavez to play on the 6th turn, just simply to thin out the deck. So that might be something worth mention. It's like up to you if you wanna go like that, maybe not, but it's still something to worth it to put in this deck, because at the end of the day you are more keen to play Devil Dino, and still you might not draw that because this is like the last 3 cards on your deck, and then you obviously not going to draw last 2 because the America Chavez is going to be that 3rd card from the last cards you have. So yeah, so sometimes you might actually end up to play the America Chavez. So that might be ideally the setup for future Series 2 Value Town. So right now we actually playing something along those lines, which is the Mantis, and we actually were playing the Angel. What's her name? Sorry, I'm new into the Marvel universe, but I'm super excited about the game itself, so it's just amazing. Definitely going to play casually for the eternity. It's like super amazing game. I'm super happy I'm doing the videos. I'm right now, like as you can see, like new player, super excited about the game. Just doing my own Series 1 starter decks. Obviously this is like a Series 1 right now. But the next video, at some point, I will do the Value Town Series 2. So pretty much, I think I explained everything from the Series 1 to Series 2 and some ideas. One more thing, what I want to add to this deck and other decks, I have the idea to do obviously the Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3. And then I would like to improve that Series 2 decks to Series 3, so you definitely will see me trying to do this Value Town Series 3 deck, or maybe some other aggro decks or tempo decks to Series 3 decks. And another thing what I want to say, it's like this deck, I mentioned already, but I want to say one more time, this deck is super consistent, so definitely going to win lots of games, and you're supposed to, especially when you're new players, well, I'm not saying like I'm old player, I'm new as well, but what I'm trying to say, it's good to have a consistent deck, to test out the deck, and usually the good idea, if you're worried about the rank system, I'm not really worried, I don't really care. I can just judge what's going on, because when I'm testing the crappy decks, I'm losing a lot, and then I'm just almost going to bronze, and then when I have good deck, or 2 days with the good decks, I'm going obviously higher. But ideally, if you will go Conquest, and you will go just the first, the Proving Grounds, which you don't need to pay anything, you will come across obviously bad decks and some really good decks, and then you will see, can you actually beat a good deck with your deck. Then you will know it's consistent, because it's obviously you're not gonna test your deck like in the way is good if you are going to beat lots of bad opponents, right? Because you will come across lots of bad opponents with lots of bad decks, or maybe similar decks to you, and they don't know how to play or whatever. But you will come across a good decks, and then you will firstly you will justify your deck, is it good or not, or you can just simply change some things to win more games against those decks in order to win. So pretty much you will add ideally Cosmo, and then you're just good to go, because the majority of decks are going to be some Cancer decks, and the Cancer I'm talking about the Odin and the Tiger with the Wong. So that's what the people are super excited. It's like the best combo ever, but obviously not. But I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not judging. This deck is great. I'm going to do this deck as well, but it's not going to be my favorite deck because just simply it's boring. It's just super ultra boring. So definitely you want to go with armor against the armor against destroy decks, and definitely you want to go with the Cosmo and just learn to basically where to play that at what moment. Just, you know, they're gonna play the Wonk, and then you're just waiting to play them. The opponent going to play the Wonk, and then you're just gonna play the Cosmo on that location. Pretty much, you're good to go. But sometimes it's just like a huge cancer because yeah, because the ability is good, and if it's not counter, it's just gonna make so many stats on the board. It doesn't really matter what you're going to play, right? Because you just need to counter this, and if you're not going to counter this, obviously you are going to lose. Well, basically every game almost. So yeah, that's good to know. Oh my god, 60 minutes, 70 minutes. Okay, though. Who is going to listen to me? Anyway, so thank you much, guys, for watching. If you've actually been watching and listening, a few highlights, and then obviously still a few decks from the series 1. So take care and bye for now.